Hello and welcome back to Gapeys Grow Room. We've been super busy for the last couple months starting lots and lots of seeds in the grow room, and I thought it would be time to give you an update on how all those things are doing now that they've been growing for a while. Everything we've started, well, almost everything we've started germinated. We did have a few things that did not come up, but for the most part everything is doing really well. I've already repotted a lot of the things that we started in February and March. So let's take a look and see how they're doing. I'm going to start our update outside. So these are all the things that I've kicked out of the grow room to make room for more stuff, and are things that are more cold hardy. We're still seeing some freezing or close to freezing temperatures at night. So it got down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit the other day, but we've got all of our kales here. I probably got 6 different varieties of kale, and I just repotted these ones into 3.5-inch containers yesterday. And we've got our parsley and our celery here, and then a lot of our perennial herbs and flowers are over here. So these are the penstemons here. This is the white sage, and we've got our Georgia southern collards. We've got 3 of those. These are our columbines. I had 2 varieties of those. Most of those are still in the for sale trays. Got one larger one in a 2.5-inch pot. And this is our second round of lettuce. I kept some of these in the grow room and took some outside just to kind of see how they grow comparatively. And then I've got all of our Swiss chards here in for sale trays. Got the snapdragons, I think 4 or 5 different varieties of those. And then some more penstemons here that I have repotted into 3.5-inch containers. So that's all we have outside. I did plant the first round of lettuce in the garden already because they were getting really big, but that's what we have outside so far. I've got the lights pulled up on all these trays so that you can see them a little better. Normally I'll keep the lights about 1 inch or 2 away from the tops of the plants. So this is where all of my peppers are, or at least 95% of them. We've got our Chinense varieties here in this tray. These are the first ones that we started, and those are all looking really good. And then in this back tray here, the ones on the left here are all the Baccatum varieties. And then we've got some annuums on the right side here. We've got some late planted jalapenos. Those are the ones that I started pretty late, so that's why they're a little bit smaller. We've got some more annuums here on the right. And then yet again, more annuums here. I grew a lot of annuums this year. But if you want to see all the varieties that came up and an update on how they're all doing, I did post an update to my channel members. So that's my paid channel members. So if you're a paid member, you can see that update over in my members area. And then this one here, I wanted to show in a little bit more detail. This is the Tangerine Tiger variegated pheno that I got from 7 Pot Club. He grew this last year. It was kind of a surprise, but he saved seeds and sent me some. And so I grew 4 of these, and unfortunately the leaves are just looking really strange. So you can see how kind of deformed they're looking. So this one does have variegation on the primary leaves, as does this one, but they just look really funny, and they're nowhere near the size of the Tangerine Tigers I have in the back there. They were started exactly the same time. But these are growing really slowly and just really mutated. You can see this one, all the leaves are really odd shaped. So I don't have high hopes that this is gonna do very well. We're gonna keep growing it until they, I guess, die. We've got one of our cans here. This is the Nina Fedora. This was the latest one to sprout, and it's doing really good. I had 2 sprouts in this one, and I did repot the extra one back here. It's still a tiny little seedling in the back. Otherwise, this is doing really well. I'm not seeing any variegation on the leaves yet, but it should get variegation hopefully as it gets a little bit older. And let's move over here to the right under the Mars Hydro TS1000 here. We've got our other 2 cans here. This is the Santaka and the Kingstar Starling. So these are doing fairly well. They're getting a little bit leggy. I'm not sure if I need to increase the light intensity or maybe it's too bright. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're doing all right there. And then we've got our onions here in the back and some scallions here in this smaller container. So I've pruned these probably 3 or 4 times now. So they're probably due for another prune, and I like to prune them down to about 3 to 4 inches. And then we've got our fig cuttings here. We're doing really well. They rooted and started growing leaves, but I don't know, they're starting to kind of discolor a little bit, and some of the roots are starting to turn a little bit brown, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I did lose this one that I had in a mix of perlite and vermiculite, so it did have some leaves, but they kind of shriveled up and all the roots turned brown, so that one is not going to make it. And then this one here, it looks like some of the leaves are starting to fall off and die, so I don't know what's going on here, but the roots are starting to turn a little bit brown. I don't think I'm overwatering it or underwatering it, so I am using the Sunshine potting mix in these two, and I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan of this one, so I prefer Pro Mix, but I didn't have any available, so I thought I would try this Sunshine mix, and I'm not sure if that's why these are doing so poorly, but I definitely will not be buying that potting soil again. Now on this shelf, we've got 3 varieties of basil there in the back. We've got Thai basil, sweet basil, and opal basil. I recently repotted those up into 2.5-inch containers, so they're doing pretty well. And then here in the front, I've got a whole mix of different things. I've got some late planted shallots, so I don't think I've grown shallots from seed before, so I wanted to give that a try. This variety is called Ed's Red. I did not do a seed starting video on that particular one. I've also got some new vegetable called sweet garlic from Row 7 Seeds, and I don't know of anyone else that is growing this. They sent me some seeds to try out, and it's on their website, but you cannot purchase them yet, so it'll be interesting to see how that does. If you're growing this, let me know, but it's a brand new vegetable that is just released this year, I believe. And then we've got our celosias, and this is something I just started recently that's just starting to germinate. We've got some tomatillos, and this is ground cherries. So the ground cherries have not come up yet, but we've got a couple of tomatillos sprouting in there. And then we've got all of our cherry tomatoes that I posted about, I believe, last week. So those are all coming up and doing well. And then we've got our larger tomato varieties. You can see they're starting to get their primary leaves there, and I need to get those repotted into individual cells here pretty soon. More tomatoes here, and then our eggplants. We've got some earlier started ones and some later started ones, all doing really well. All right, let's see if we can get a look at the stuff on the top shelf here. Let me move this tray out of the way. We've got our amaranths there that I just repotted last week, and we've got some more celosias up here in this tray. Let me put this one back. So these are the lettuces that we have outside. You can see, or maybe you can't see, but these are a lot larger than the ones that I have outside because it's a lot warmer in the grow room, so they're growing a lot more quickly. We've got 3 different varieties of lettuce there. And then we've got our marigolds here. For some reason, this particular variety is growing a lot taller than the other ones we started. And then in this tray, we've got our calendula and our star flowers and other scabiosas. Oh, and we've got our status here too. So on this last shelf, we have our Mars Hydro VG80 lights. So these are LED lights that are similar to the T8 fluorescent lights, but they're obviously LED. I'm trying these out for the first time this year. I did purchase these. They didn't send these to me for free or anything. So I wanted to give them a try to see if they would be a good alternative to my fluorescent tubes that I've been using for so long. And what I'm finding is some things don't like this light very much, while others don't seem to mind it. So the status back there is one example. Let me pull these out and I'll show you. They're kind of turning kind of red. Let's see if we can get back up there. You can see the leaves are kind of reddish colored. They should be green and they're not. So those do not like it very much. That's the only thing I'm kind of trialing under this light. I guess I have some lettuces here too. Lettuces don't seem to mind it too much. They seem to be doing all right. But I'll do a separate video probably of some of the experiments that I'm doing in the grow room. So this light is one of them. And I'm also doing an experiment with the potting soils that I'm trying out to see which ones work better. But that'll be a separate video. Here we've got some more marigolds. That's something else I'm trialing between this light and the other light. We've got our gomphrena here, nasturtiums, got some asters back here. Also got some amaranth and celosia, so that's another thing I'm comparing between the two lights. We've got a few peppers under these lights as well. There's 4 of those. And then we've got all of our zinnias, and we've got our lace flowers back here as well. So there's our rudbeckia back there. Doing okay. I don't have any under the other light to compare, so I'm not sure if that could be doing better or not. But nothing is dying under these lights, but some things definitely prefer fluorescent. Well, that covers everything in the grow room and outside that we started in the last couple months. I hope you enjoyed this update. We've got a lot more seeds to start this month. We've got our cucumbers, melons, squashes, cosmos, and a few other things, so I'll be getting those done over the next few weeks. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up because that really does help. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.